The distant wail of a train whistle cut through the crisp Montana morning as Delilah James stared at her husband's grave, the dirt still fresh despite the passing of 3 months. Her fingers, raw from scrubbing other people's laundry, clutched a single wildflower, the same kind that had grown around their small homestead when Thomas was alive, before the fever took him and left her alone with a farm she couldn't manage, debts she couldn't pay, and a heart she couldn't mend. Montana Territory, 1885. Bitter Creek had been her home for 6 years, ever since Thomas had convinced her to leave Chicago behind for the promise of open skies and their own land. Now, at 27, Delilah was neither girl nor crone, but somehow both too young to surrender to widowhood, too beaten down by grief to imagine anything beyond survival. "I brought your favorite," she whispered to the wooden cross. The cemetery sat on a gentle slope overlooking the town, offering a view of the main street with its saloons, general store, and the newly constructed railroad station that had brought prosperity to some and merely more hardship to others. "The preacher says I should be moving forward, but I don't know how to step without you beside me." She'd sold most of their belongings to pay the doctor's bills, but the remaining debt to the bank loomed like a mountain. Tomorrow was her last day before Montgomery, the bank manager, would claim their land. She had nowhere to go, no family to turn to. The weight of her situation pressed down on her shoulders, threatening to crush what little strength remained. As Delilah turned to leave, she noticed a rider approaching on the road below. Even from a distance, she recognized the distinctive silhouette of Ethan Hayes, his broad shoulders and the way he sat tall in the saddle making him unmistakable. He'd arrived in Bitter Creek just a month after Thomas died, taking on work at the Wallace Ranch outside town. Folks said he came from somewhere in Texas, though he rarely spoke about his past. What they did speak of was his way with horses and his habit of stepping in whenever someone needed help. Delilah